Hello, and welcome to ARSKit.com Remedy Log Analyzer product demonstration. The Remedy Log Analyzer is a comprehensive tool for capturing, manipulating and analyzing remedy logs, and we will walk through main features of the product to demonstrate and to show you how it can be beneficial for you. It mainly consists of three sub-applications: ARSKit Total Log Client, ARSKit Log Workflow Analysis, and ARSKit Log Performance Analysis. With ARSKit Total Log Client, you can perform tasks, such as setting and collecting server-side remedy logs, manipulate the log, and initiate the log analysis. You can initiate API filter and SQL log, workflow, or performance analysis. You can do it for web client log too. Let us begin with workflow log analysis of server-side API filter and SQL logs. In this example, we will perform workflow analysis of incident creation activity. First step is to enable the log in server information page. However, you can enable the server-side log from Remedy Total Log Client tool itself. In fact, dealing with the server log setting is much easier now. Specify the server detail for admin login. In the server grouping environment, you may want to enable logging in all the servers, which you can do by specifying multiple server names separated by comma, and the tool will log into each of the servers, fetches the logging information. You then specify log path where you want a remedy server to capture a log and enable API filter and SQL log into a single file. Apply the setting. Perform the required action, which is creating the incident ticket in our case. Once the operation is performed, disable the API filter SQL log and download the log file from the servers. Clicking on the download button will fetch his log from each of available servers and put it on the specified folder. Sometime you may like to perform additional tasks on server-side log, such as split the log file into several files, or combine multiple log files such as API, filter or SQL into single file on the basis of timestamp, or most commonly, you may prefer to extract particular user log from the server-side log for better analysis. For log analysis, you can specify the log path, primary user for which the analysis is required, and select the type. For now, select the workflow option for workflow log analysis. Specify the ARSKit.com authentication. If you do not have your account, you may visit the site and create one. Click on the Start button, and Remedy Total Log will upload the log onto the server for analysis. Before uploading a log, it will ensure minimum utilization of network bandwidth by extracting required user log and compress it. Once the analysis is performed, it will open a result in a web browser, which is pretty amazing. This is the same API log that you requested for analysis, but it has brought the representation to a whole new fantastic level. As you can see, workflow analysis convert the plain old API filter and SQL logs into a beautiful, easy to understand, easy to navigate, nested log format where the API log is represented in bluish-green color and the filter processes are represented in green color. API analysis is broadly classified into two sections. The right side section is called a sticky eagle panel because it will stick to its position even if you scroll down, as long as you are analyzing corresponding API log. It will provide the high-level view of whole API filter execution. As you can see, calling Create Entry API on HPD Help Desk form triggers different events, represented in the filter processing log, involving different actions, forms spread across different phases. These filter processes are represented in a nested format, to indicate the immediate parent filter process. For example, Create Event on an SRM request form was triggered from one of Filter on SRM request interface create form, which in turn was triggered by one of Filter on HPD Help Desk form in phase 2. you can move your mouse cursor over different line for better visibility. If you move your mouse over a particular form, it will highlight same form in different section. For example, HPD help desk form appears twice, but for a same record at different phases. Similarly, for NTE process control form, you can see 3 entries but this time the records are different. It also represents the time taken to perform particular section in milliseconds, but we will get into the detail when we see log performance report. Let's come to the left side section of the log analysis result. This section represents API filter and SQL log. API line indicates API call, form name and request/entry on which API was performed. SQL log is represented in a small box with the SQL execution result, and time taken to process it. Filter process log indicates filter operation, form name and request/entry on which filter execution was triggered, along with phase number. Filters, filter guides and corresponding actions are represented in a different format. As mentioned, the navigation is one of the major issue while analyzing API log, but ARSKit log analysis provide easy to navigate feature, wherein you can expand or collapse any API or filter section. Click on particular API or filter entries to directly jump into that log section. At the end of filter operation, click on Go To button to jump at the beginning of the event. You can navigate to specific action, which got deferred to phase 2, and vice versa. For example, this is one of deferred filter executing in phase 2. If you want to jump to the original call in phase 1, simple click on Go to Action link and you will directly land in requested action. You can again click on Deferred to Phase 2 link to jump to corresponding deferred action in phase 2. Notice how underline changes from one location to another when you navigate from one section to another. As in when you scroll the page for analysis, the underlying focus will change depending on current event you are viewing. This is to ensure that you are not getting lost anywhere while navigating. For example, if you want to know on which form this particular filter was executed, you may simply refer the focused filter process from the Sticky Eagle panel. Of course, you can use browser search feature, until we come up with our own highly efficient search functionality, to search any text. It also enhances the SQL statements for better understanding. For example, let's go to Insert SQL statement of this particular incident record, which should be at the end of phase 1. So jump into phase 2 section, and scroll up. There are times, when you want to understand from SQL statement, what value goes into which column. For that you can simply highlight particular column to see its corresponding value. As you can see, the focused column and corresponding value get highlighted. Same for vice versa case, that is, you focus on value, and the corresponding column will be highlighted. Now let us perform similar workflow analysis for the web client log. Again, this example will consider the analysis of web client logs, generated while creating a new incident ticket. As you can see, workflow logging window has generated enough log, and now all you have to do is select, drag and drop to Remedy Total Log Web Client tab. In no time, it will convert the plain web client log into beautiful, easy to understand, easy to navigate, nested log format, where the events are represented in the green and nested structure, active link flows are represented in different format. Moreover, you can expand or collapse particular section, and analyze section of log, depending on what you actually wanted to analyze. As you can see, clicking on Save button on incident form, trigger set of active links, and this particular active link performs commit changes in fourth action, which in turn triggers active link on submit event. If you further scroll down, you may see active links getting called inside active link guide, represented in dark orange color. It may also highlight end of the particular active link or event or guide, and you can easily navigate to top of a particular section by clicking on Go Top Link. You may not get all this functionality such as representation of events in a nested format if you are on 8.0 or below server. However, you still can process web client log and enjoy available features. You may notice all HTTP backchannel call, that is API logs, are represented in plain text. However, you can convert these API filter and SQL logs into more meaningful representation, similar to server-side log analysis. You just have to click on the right button. Please note that you need to select the appropriate settings in an AR user preference form to bring up the HTTP calls to enable API log processing. Once you click on the analysis button, the particular section of the log will be sent over server for further processes and the result is similar to server-side log analysis result. The sticky eagle panel will stick to its position even if you scroll down, as long as you are analyzing corresponding API log. You may scroll down and perform similar request for another API calls. Furthermore, sharing the analysis result is way easier. Just copy the result URL and share it to anyone. No need to perform tedious tasks of uploading the log for sharing web client or server-side log. Sharing the analysis link is enough. In a nutshell, ARSKit Log Analyzer will provide wonderful representation of log for rapid analysis. Now let us look at the ARSKit Log Performance sub-application, which provide comprehensive performance reports at functional and system point of view. Select the Performance Analysis option, and select one of the sub-options. Primary User Performance Report will perform detailed analysis of primary user log and provide API walkthrough for functional performance. It also generate API, filter and SQL detail reports. All users' performance report will also consider other users for API, SQL and user analysis. However, it will still represent API walkthrough log only for primary user of the functional performance report. For advanced thread statistics, collect API logs for the minimum duration of 1 hour during peak hours, and upload it for thread analysis. Check out Improving Performance of Remedy Application and Remedy Thread Configuration blog for more detail. For demonstration, let us consider all user performance reports for the incident journey. You can exclude a few of the system user. Once finished, it will open the result in a web browser. There are different reports generated. Let's go one by one. API walkthrough will provide a functional analysis of primary user logs. It indicates the total time consumed by each API call in sequence and corresponding filter process in sequence and nested format for better visibility of functional performance. As you may observe in this particular instance, creating request in SRM request form took around 10-19 milliseconds because of its own filter executions, which in turn trigger filter execution of child forms. This 10-19 millisecond, in turn, is responsible for a 26-93 millisecond execution period of interface logic, which in turn is responsible for extra 29-37 milliseconds for processing in phase 2 of incident creation logic. And likewise, you can go up to top level. This may indicate that you can save 29-37 milliseconds by turning service creation logic off, which will bring down the total execution period of parent processing, and in turn there will be a performance improvement of API call by 29-37 milliseconds. In this way, you can pinpoint the actual cause of delay in the whole API call. You may consider taking such log periodically, maybe on weekly/monthly basis, or just before and after implementing any code changes, so that you can compare and observe the performance difference. In API list, you can see API call details. You may sort it on execution time to see most time-consuming calls. In all the reports, you will have filter option to restrict the result depending on your requirement. A PI list by group will combine the results into logical grouping. For example, all create entries API call took 7883 milliseconds, which is 45% utilization of the system. Likewise, you can combine few other options, such as a group by API and schema indicates particular API call on particular schema. For example, all get entries on help desk form took 21 milliseconds, which is 0.12% utilization of the system. Likewise, you can get such a report for filter as well. For SQL reports, you can sort on execution time to bring up the time-consuming second QLs. You can right-click on the table header to display more columns. Also, you can use the filter option to restrict the results. For example, if you are interested only in T-table select statements, provide appropriate input and click on the refresh button. SQL list by group will display a report using group by functionality. For example, the total time taken for T-table select operation is 9858 milliseconds. And all T-table selection operations on T936 took on an average just 323 milliseconds. If you still don't know where to optimize the SQL statements, then table detail is a perfect option for you. It will analyze all SQL statements from the log, and prepare table-wise report, which will represent overall statistics for every table. It shows the total select, update delete, insert counts, along with the total and average execution period. Sort it on average select time, and bring the most time-consuming table ID up. As you can see, T936 took was executed only 3 times, but on an average it took 322 milliseconds. Click on column icon to see the column/field usages, which will show the columns usages in select where clause. Depending on the usages, you may consider indexing these columns, if the column utilization is high, to improve performance. Of course, other parameters, like insert count, matters and you may have to consult your database team for further process before applying or removing any indexes. If any column usages is low, you may consider removing indexes to improve overall performance. The table detail report is highly recommended for database analysis, but you have to upload adequate log for meaningful report. You should consider taking log consisting whole application journey, covering most of functionality, so log performance analysis capture close of accurate detail on the functional usages of tables and corresponding columns. User detail report is more useful when you want to see remedy server utilization by different users or client type. For example, you can see most of system resources was utilized by app admin. You may fetch a report on client type to indicate what type of client took how much utilization of servers. For example, if there is heavy use of web services in your production environment, then you should also see web service record in the user list, along with the remedy server utilization detail. Finally, for the thread statistics report, click on the idle thread to observe which all threads were in queue for the system to pick up, so that you can configure the thread appropriately for accurate thread configuration. Once again, sharing the link will be enough to share the particular log analysis result. By the way, you can achieve the same functionality online by uploading the log file and initiate the analysis. All of the analysis results are maintained in your account so that you can access it later on. This is the end of product demonstration, and hope you liked it. Register today and start using ARSKit Remedy Log Analyzer products. Please provide your comment, feedback or suggestion for improvement or contact us for any relevant topic. Thank you for watching this video.